Guys, I brought you to a very fitting environment today. It's winter time and I want to drive an expensive supercar, so I need one with all-wheel drive and that looks a bit cool, fitting to this environment. We're in one of the most expensive neighborhoods of the Netherlands, and I can really imagine owning a house like this with its own tennis court and a fence to keep the mortals away, and then you just walk through your garden, open the gate. Yeah, I'm taking a bit of a shortcut here, and then walking to your car. I mean, isn't this the perfect picture? This is the Audi R8 V10 Plus, and we got it from car company Baarse, which is a Audi specialist. And I mean, I think they have the perfect R8 V10 Plus. It's in this kind of matte silver, matte gray color with the black rims, carbon ceramic brakes, and I mean, come on, this is the coolest car you can drive on a day like this, because it is a bit cold, it's freezing and it's a bit wet. As you can see, the road is a bit shiny. So 610 horsepower on all four wheels is the recipe for today, and it all comes from this 5.2 V10. And doesn't it look cool, this glass over the engine bay with the leaves on it. It's a bit romantic, I think, and the carbon wing over here. Okay, let's open it to show you the engine, because you can open the engine bay. Wow, that's so cool. Man, I really want to do that every day. So this is it, with the cross on it for the chassis stiffness. And of course we've already driven this car. Well, we've technically driven this car because we've driven the Lamborghini Huracan, which is the Lamborghini twin brother of the Audi R8, technically. So you have a normal V10 and the V10 Plus, and well, I'm going to take a shortcut here again. You need to have the V10 Plus because you get carbon ceramic brakes, more power, you get more carbon parts, you get everything is better, everything, and the price difference isn't all that big, so go for the Plus. Okay, the design then. They clearly wanted more room, more distinguishment between the Lamborghini and its Audi brother, because the previous R8 and the Gallardo were also brothers, but they were kind of crazy both. So the Audi now has the role of the distinguished brother, and the Lamborghini is the crazy hooligan of the two. And they've done a really good job, I think. It's not as bonkers anymore, you know, with the enormous carbon air blades on the side and with massive wheel arches, but they stick to very sharp, very linear lines. So I think they did a great job. I have to say, when it came out, I thought the old R8 looked better, but now I see it like this, in this color. Again, this is the perfect setup. This is the winner. So the interior, I think it looks very good. It actually feels a lot more spacious than in the Lamborghini Huracan. Very nice design on these buttons and switches. They feel, man, great. I just want to keep turning these switches. Oh man, this is what you want in such an expensive car. The only thing I really don't like is the gear lever, which looks like it's from a Hummer. You know, this is not very supercar-like. And as I said, it's identical to the Lamborghini Huracan, and that car doesn't even have a gear lever. Then the steering wheel with these 4 buttons for the exhaust, for some extra dynamic settings, the drive select button, and the red beautiful start button. And then the V10 comes to life. As you know, we have the Audi cockpit thingy, so you can have the sat-nav system on it, or some other data like oil temperature, gearbox temperature, or you can have the center rev counter, which looks superb. Especially when you nearly hit the rev limiter, it starts to flash and change color and looks awesome. I'll show you in a minute. Okay, everything's hot, so we can immediately start driving it, which of course is the thing of the Audi R8. The Audi R8 V10 Plus is completely flat beneath the car, and because of the massive rear spoiler, it manages to generate 140 kilograms of downforce. So that's a very, very fat person sitting on the roof, or on the back axle actually. So it has a vacuum underneath the car, sucking it to the road for optimal grip. Okay, so now we're in comfort mode, and it's actually quite comfortable. It's a lot more comfortable than the old R8, because when you drove the old R8 on a road like this, everything started to rattle and shake in the interior. It was so uncomfortable, and this really is. Even though I have a little surprise for you, this has the KW suspension kit, so that's quite an extra in comparison to a normal Audi R8 V10 Plus. So that's quite cool. And as I said, this car really is at home in this neighborhood, because it's with the woods, with these nice roads, lovely people. We had some people coming to us telling us that some of the people over here also have this car. It's a bit common actually, but nevertheless very, very special. Okay, I'm just going to switch to dynamic. I can't wait anymore. You just push the drive select, dynamic, and then, as I said, there's this extra switch. When you push it, the traction control completely turns off, but it's quite wet today, so I'm going to turn it on again. And then you can switch. Where is it? Yeah, between a snow mode, wet mode, and a dry mode. So they really developed the car to actually perform in all conditions, you know. They have a mode for this car for when it's snowy and you want to push it. How cool is that? Okay, let's turn off the exhaust. The valves are now closed, and you can really hear it, you know. 2 downshifts, nothing, and turn it on, turn it on. Going into 4th, 2 downshifts again. And it all sounds a lot more sporty and violent. So unfortunately today we're not on one of our favorite roads, because it was quite far away, and the owner of the car company, Barse, said that yeah, we can drive the car, but not for too long, not too many kilometers, and we completely understand, and we're very grateful that we can drive it. So we're not going to push it as hard as we normally do, but let's just enjoy it. some memories of the Huracan, man. How cool is that sound? If you own this car, will it ever get boring? I really don't think so. This is one of the best sounds ever made by a car. Oh, the V10. Such a lovely engine. And I do have to say, the last time we drove the Huracan, it had a aftermarket exhaust, and I don't think the difference is all that great. It's a bit louder with an aftermarket exhaust, but I don't really think it's worth the money, because the aftermarket exhaust for the R8 and the Huracan are like 15 to 20,000 euros. So I would keep those in my pocket. Okay, the gearbox is a S-tronic dual clutch unit, and it's superb. It's so good. It's actually as good, or maybe even a bit sharper than the Porsche PDK, which I think, okay, let's just say that the PDK and this S-tronic unit are the best gearboxes out there today in supercars. You really don't notice any time in between the moment you hit the flappy pedal and it changes gear, so it's instant. Okay, we have a nice little straight here, so I can show you the straight line performance. I just get goosebumps every time I do this. It's insane. Even though the traction control is turned on, you feel the rear axle moving a bit because it's wet, and every time you change the gear it gets this bang of power on the rear axle, and because it's so lightning fast. But the car manages to get it all on the road, make you feel safe, make you feel planted. I mean, that's just born. Oh my god, this is a piece of heaven. Before I drove this car, I thought, why would you get the Audi R8? The Huracan is clearly the cooler car. And that attitude is changing a bit, I have to admit, because the way this car looks, you can go to a restaurant in this car and you just have a cool car. When you go to a restaurant in a Huracan, you're a dick. But the brutality and the experience is just the same, and the practicality is actually a lot better, because the interior space, as I said, is just much better. It all feels better, the buttons and the ergonomics are better. Okay, it's not as much of a supercar as the Huracan. It's not as crazy and as yellow or orange, but there are so many upsides to having this distinguished looking matte silver Audi R8. And now I'm going to show you how those upsides look in real life. problem with the Lamborghini Huracan is that 27-year-old YouTubers like me are not going to buy or afford a Huracan or an Audi R8 V10 Plus. The people that are able to afford one are lawyers, judges, real estate guys, I don't know what to call them, and they are like 50, and they will get laughed at when they show up in a Huracan. Let's imagine that I own one of these houses and I'm now driving home, and in this car I can just wave to people and they like it and they think it's well designed and it's a good example of a premium product that belongs in a neighborhood like this. But in a Lamborghini you would go like, oh, he's going to recognize me. And in this you're just proud of the machine you own. And let's see if I can put it in front of a house and show you what I mean. This is like 10 million euros, so buying an Audi R8 is nothing to these people. And look how good how good does this thing look here. It's at home. Okay, thank you guys for watching this POV review. It was a bit different than what we usually do because we're not very familiar in this area. It's not our natural environment. These people have way more money than we do, so we don't belong here. Thanks again, and if you want to see some cool Audis to you Dutch people, visit JC Baarse in Aalsmeer, a very cool car company, and they're these great Audi specialists, and this is an example of their product. Okay, thanks again.